Have you ever felt just completely drained? You know, like your personal battery is stuck on 1% and nothing will charge it. Well, in our crazy, fast-paced world, the promise of a quick reset is, let's be honest, incredibly appealing. And that's exactly where this huge wellness trend, the Myers cocktail, comes in, promising a direct IV drip of pure vitality. So what's the real story here? Let's get into it.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First up, we'll look at why so many of us are searching for that quick boost in the first place. Then, we'll break down what the Myers cocktail actually is, what's inside that so-called magic formula, and all the amazing benefits it's supposed to have. But most importantly, we're going to put those claims head-to-head with the scientific evidence to get to our final takeaway.
So, let's start at the beginning, because at the heart of this whole trend is a really common, really human problem.
I mean, does this sound familiar to you? That feeling of just being dragged down by fatigue, your energy tank totally on empty, and you're just desperate for a full system reboot. It's a feeling so many of us know, and it's the exact reason why treatments that promise a quick shot of vitality have gotten so popular. Okay, so you're feeling that burnout. How exactly is this IV therapy pitched as the ultimate solution?
At its core, the Myers cocktail is basically an IV drip. You can think of it as a wellness shortcut. See, instead of taking pills that have to work their way through your entire digestive system, this therapy sends a high-potency cocktail of vitamins and minerals straight into your veins. The big claim? Near instant and 100% absorption.
And you know, this isn't some brand new fad that just popped up on Instagram. The whole idea was actually developed way back in 1954 by a Dr. John Myers in Baltimore. For decades, he used these kinds of intravenous formulas to treat all sorts of chronic conditions. And then, after he passed away in '84, his work was picked up by another doctor, Alan Gabby, who's the one who really popularized it and gave the formula the name we all know today.
So we know the backstory, but what's actually in the bag? What makes up this famous cocktail?
Well, the standard recipe is a blend of some of the biggest names in nutrition. You've got the whole suite of B-complex vitamins, a big dose of vitamin C, plus the essential minerals magnesium and calcium. And sometimes clinics will add optional extras, like zinc for more immune support, or glutathione, which is a really powerful antioxidant. So, why these specific ingredients? Okay, let's start with the B vitamins. Think of them as the power plants for your body. They are absolutely essential for turning the food you eat into energy you can actually use, which is exactly why they're key to fighting that feeling of fatigue. Then you've got vitamin C, which is like your body's protective shield. It's a total powerhouse antioxidant. It helps protect your cells from damage, it supports a strong immune system, and it's also crucial for making the collagen that keeps your skin looking healthy.
And finally, you have the dynamic duo, magnesium and calcium. Magnesium is super important for things like muscle relaxation, think calming cramps, while calcium is the foundation for bone strength and muscle contraction. So together, they give this incredible support for your overall physical health. Okay, so with a lineup of ingredients like that, it's really no surprise that the list of promised benefits is, well, it's long. So what are people really hoping to get out of one of these IV drips? The list of what this thing supposedly does is massive. I mean, proponents claim it can do pretty much everything, from fighting off chronic fatigue and totally supercharging your immune system, to sharpening your mental clarity and even lifting your mood. It's also pushed for speeding up recovery after a workout and for easing things like migraines.
And just to give you an idea of how strong some of these claims are, one source we looked at describes the goal as creating a sistema inmune a prueba de balas, which translates to a bulletproof immune system. Now that is a bold promise. It suggests you have this almost invincible defense against getting sick.
A bulletproof immune system? Yeah, that's a really big promise. But the big question is, does the science actually back it up? It's time to dig into the evidence.
Okay, so the biggest argument for the Myers cocktail really boils down to one thing: absorption. The whole logic is that by delivering vitamin C intravenously, you can get the concentrations in your blood up to 50 times higher than you could ever get by just taking it orally. You bypass the gut, you get a much bigger, much faster hit of all these nutrients. And this is where the debate really kicks off. On one hand, the advantage is clear, right? IV delivery means way better absorption. But, and this is a big but, the uncertainty is in the clinical evidence. The source material is pretty clear that scientific studies have had really mixed results. For example, one pilot study on fibromyalgia found that patients felt better, but there was no real statistical difference when you compared it to a placebo. The bottom line is, there's a serious lack of large-scale, high-quality research to back up a lot of these big wellness claims.
So if the clinical evidence is kind of shaky, what does the rest of the medical community think?
Well, a 2024 survey gives us a really interesting snapshot. Almost no one, we're talking just 2.9% of health professionals, was even familiar with the name Myers cocktail. Meanwhile, more than a quarter of them saw no good reason for it, and a huge 95% said they recognized it carries potential health risks.
And speaking of those risks, it's important to know what they are. Now, the therapy is generally considered safe when a professional does it, but it's not totally without potential side effects. The most common ones are pretty mild. You might feel a sensation of warmth, maybe some lightheadedness from the magnesium, or just some irritation where the needle went in. And this part is absolutely critical to hear. This therapy is not for everyone. It's a definite no-go for pregnant or breastfeeding women, and for people with serious health conditions like severe kidney disease, congestive heart failure, or high blood pressure, mainly because of the risk of fluid overload. So, after looking at the incredible promises on one side and the skeptical evidence on the other, what's the bottom line here? Where do we land?
Okay, here's the final takeaway. The Myers cocktail really lives in this gray area between glowing personal stories and a whole lot of scientific skepticism. So many people who get them swear they feel fantastic afterward. But as of right now, that broad, high-quality scientific evidence we need to back up its biggest wellness claims, it's just not there yet.
And that leaves us with one final question to think about. Is this therapy a real shortcut to wellness, or is it a pricey, powerful placebo, a costly infusion of hope? For now, it seems like the answer really depends on whether you put more trust in personal experience or in the hard scientific data.